Hi, I'm Rita Wilkins, also known as the Downsizing Designer. So today's topic, I think, is going to be something that applies to just about every single one of us, so I do hope you listen to the end. It's about the too much dilemma. Too much isn't just about stuff, it's also about life load. So do you ever feel like too much is a problem in your life? Too much to do, too much to keep track of, too much taking up your time, your space, your energy, your peace of mind? And do you ever feel like you're drowning in those commitments and the decisions and also in the possessions? So if so, you're not alone. So it's like when life feels like it's just overflowing. You might wake up, you're already tired, the kitchen counter that you cleaned last night is already covered with stuff again, and your email inbox has sprouted 47 new emails overnight. And that guest room that you once thought would be that wonderful reading nook is now holding your daughter's college boxes, your son's hockey gear, and also 2 boxes that you have no idea what's inside. So if this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and it's not just about clutter, it's about life spilling over at every single edge. So I call it the too much dilemma. Too much stuff, too many commitments, too many interruptions, and most importantly, too many crossed boundaries. So the real silent thief is how boundaries erode without us even noticing it. Boundaries don't disappear all at one time. They wear away little by little. And it starts small. You might agree to store a box for a friend just for a week. You say yes to a weekend project even though you're already stretched thin. Or you check your phone during dinner just in case. So over time, that just this once moment piles up into the garage, your schedule, your mental bandwidth, till it's full, but not the things that you've chosen. So here's a quick story. I'll call it the snowy garage. So Mary's a grandmother, age 60. She had a neat little garage. She kept her car in it. And then her daughter moved overseas and asked if she could store a few things in there for just 6 months. Well, that was 3 years ago. So last winter, as Mary was scraping ice off of her windshield, she thought, why am I still standing outside freezing when my car should actually be inside? So that's the thing about boundaries. When we don't guard them, life and other people's stuff kind of moves right in. So that drowning feeling and why it's really not your fault. So if you've ever thought, I should be able to handle this better, I just want you to hear this clearly. It's not your fault. We live in a too much culture, too much information, too many possessions, too many demands on our time and our attention. So here's another story to prove my point. It's called the Workday that never ends. So Carla, a Gen X executive, prided herself on always being so reliable. So she'd answer emails at 10 o'clock at night, she'd take calls over the weekend, and she would never set a firm end time to her day. And then she would say, well, it's just the nature of the job, until she realized that there was never really going to be a finish line. So work had crossed over into every single corner of her life, and she let it happen without even noticing. So this isn't about willpower or discipline. It's actually about the invisible load that we carry. And it's that mental load and mental clutter that's just as exhausting as the physical kind. So there are 3 gentle shifts that we can make. The first one is letting go without guilt. So letting go isn't just about stuff. It's also about the emotions that we attach to it. So we keep things out of obligation, and also we fear the waste that we might be having, or it reminds me of someone that we love. So there's a little story about a china cabinet. Lauren was a millennial. She inherited her grandmother's china, but she didn't host formal dinner parties, and her small apartment couldn't even hold all of the dinnerware. But the guilt of letting it go felt so heavy. So one day she pictured a stranger opening a box in a thrift shop and just delighting at what she saw. That's when she realized that the joy could keep moving even if the dishes didn't stay with her. So here are some simple letting go tips. So use that 10-second gut check, which is one of the best. So do I love it? Do I need it? If not, just get rid of it. The next is bless and release. So imagine its next home and the joy that it actually could bring to someone else who would need it and would use it. Then there's the resetting without the overwhelm. So a reset doesn't have to mean a total overhaul. Sometimes it's just reclaiming one shelf, 1 hour, one notification-free day. So I love this story. It's about the Sunday morning take back. So after Jim retired, he found his Sunday mornings packed with errands and helping out with little projects for his neighbors, for his family. He never complained, but he missed his quiet mornings. So one week he decided to make Sunday mornings non-negotiable. No chores, no errands, just coffee, his book, and his back porch. So it's amazing how much more energy he has now. So there are a couple of simple reset tips. Choose one visible space to clear this week. It could be a desk, a counter, a nightstand. Choose one invisible space this week to clear. Could be your email inbox, your app notifications, or your calendar clutter. And then protect your reset wins. Keep them small, but keep them sacred. And the third simple thing we can do is create boundaries that stick. This is so important because boundaries aren't walls, they're actually doors that you control. They allow the right things in and they keep the wrong things out, and they keep them from taking over. So there's a laundry basket story about a Gen X mom finally told her teen, your laundry basket belongs in your room, not mine. It wasn't a big confrontation. It was just a clear line in the sand. And when that laundry basket stayed in her daughter's room, something surprising happened. She felt calmer every time she walked past that room, and knowing that she had created a boundary and it was sticking. So here are some simple boundary tips. Define the line before it's crossed. Communicate it with kindness and clarity, and then protect it with consistency, not confrontation. There is a generational connection with all of this, in case you haven't noticed. It's this too much dilemma and doesn't really discriminate. So when you think about it, boomers who are downsizing, they have digital overwhelm. They have adult children's belongings. In the Gen X generation, the sandwich generation, they have work-life bleed. They also are getting inherited clutter. And millennials living in small spaces, they have constant notifications and maybe some side hustle overload. So these are 3 different stages, same feeling. Life is creeping into places that it doesn't belong. So here's a gentle invitation for your 1-week boundary reset. So the challenge, and it's entirely yours if you choose to do it. First one is to see it. So notice one intrusion in your life, whether it's physical, time, digital, or emotional. Name it, write it down, and write down the new boundary in your 1 sentence, and take 1 step. Clear the space, block the time, or send the message. And then protect it. So keep it in place for 1 week and savor the lightness that you'll feel. Notice that relief and the mental clarity that it brings. So bottom line is, you don't have to clear your entire home or overhaul your entire life overnight. You just have to make 1 corner breathable again. Your space, your time, your focus, they're all yours to reclaim. And once you start, you're going to be surprised at how much lighter you feel, how much easier it is to say yes to what truly matters and what doesn't. I hope this helps.